That's why people loved Friends, because they were able to see these people every single week. Right, yeah, like they were just, living life and just, okay, whatever, because we never saw them pay rent. I think the reason why people have gravitated to shows like Friends, for instance, is because, like they can see themselves in these people and they like, oh, that happened to me. Or like, oh, I remember that. Like they, like everything, was just like, oh, like this is kind of how I lived my life when I was in New York. I mean, granted, we probably didn't have like a 2,000 square foot apartment for $500 a month or whatever it was, right?
No job.
Right, yeah, like they were just, living life and just, okay, whatever, because we never saw them pay rent, if we're really talking about it, right? We never saw the building manager or anything. But, so people could really identify with those characters. Same thing with Living Single, same, like there's just like various shows that were created by people and, a team of writers who literally wrote down their experiences and they were able to weave their personal experiences into the story. And that's the brilliant and beautiful thing about storytelling. And you just don't get that with a machine.
Yeah.
And I went to a school, it was last week, to talk to some kids.
Right, I saw that.
And I told them, I was like, we need more stories. And this school was in the inner city. So, I was like, look, we need more stories from people like us, from people that look like us, because there aren't that many stories, right? I'm like, yes, the door is open, but they're still not letting a lot of us through, if we're really being honest. And, so AI doesn't have that. AI doesn't have the, like, my mother used to spank me, or, like my mom could give me a look and I knew, that meant business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not those like little intricacies. And honestly, like everyone's story, like that's their personal story. You know what I mean? Like we haven't heard all of the stories in the world because there's so many people and there's so many people who haven't even told their story yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. We just need writers. We need more people to just,
And I think because it happened now based on like I don't know how long the contracts were and what are they like, why did it happen right now?
Yeah, well, it was
like a 5 year something.
It's
10 years?
every 3 years that we renegotiate a contract with WGA, SAG, IATSE as well. It's just kind of like in 3-year periods.
Yeah, so it ended up being like the perfect time based on like AI exploding, but it's like, hey, like anything we need to restrict, we need to figure out how we can use this, how we can have a balance in our own lives and not only be dedicated to maximizing our revenue streams and everybody at the top is extremely happy.
Right.
What about everybody else? So yeah, I think it couldn't have happened at a better time. And yeah, I think with the internet, like you said, even with YouTube and being able to do stuff on there, but it's like, as a whole, we need to look at everything and recalibrate and then move forward.
Yeah.
Until 3 more years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then, honestly, my personal second biggest gripe, which is also one of the deal points, is sizes. So, room sizes, because not growing up, but when I first started in television, season 2, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, granted I wasn't in the writer's room at that time, but, there was 13, maybe 14 writers on staff, right? And, we were doing 22 episodes. No, I think we did 23, and like the next season we did 24 episodes, which was normal, which is like, that's how you build a show. That's why people loved Friends, because they were able to see these people every single week. They were in their house every single week for 20 weeks, sometimes even 25. Like I was going through Friends on Netflix or wherever they are. And I was looking for a specific episode that none of the streamers have. But yeah, it's the one that goes behind the scenes, which is in between season 5 and season 6. And on the DVD box set, it's like a full 45-minute episode. That's great because it literally goes behind the scenes, shows you what it's like in the writer's room, shows you the costume department, shows you them blocking, shows you grips, shows you lighting, shows you everything that it kind of takes to put one episode of television together. Oh, and so for like a brand new person wanting to break into TV and like not knowing how to do it or like what it's even like, because I mean, like if you don't live in LA and they don't film TV where you are, like you can't sit in the audience, you just don't know what it is, So this episode was actually very good because it literally put you there, but none of the streamers have it, which is, I think, bogus. along with like commentaries, which is another thing that I think is super bogus. But room sizes and episode orders, have been shrunk with these mini rooms, and then with like 8 episodes. Like that's stupid. Honestly, frankly, that's dumb as shit. If we can be clear, because it's like you can't tell a full cohesive story in 8 episodes for a comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then you can't expect the audience to still be there when you release every single episode at the same time, and then they have to wait another year for the next season.
That's
like,
crazy.
what are we doing? This is dumb. So, but